Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another new video, and today it's a let's talk about photo books, and more specifically the inspiration that I gain from reading photo books. So let's get into it. I think there's something quite special about holding a physical photo, like having that photo or sets of photos in your hand to take in whatever the creator was intending for you to take in, the story it was intending to tell. Especially now that we live in a very digital heavy world and we have so much different forms of content getting thrown at us from so many different angles. You know, you've got shorts from YouTube, you've got TikToks, IG Reels, you've even got Facebook having their own reels as well on there. There's just us on top of all the long form content as well. There's just something special about being able to take in the physical copy and slowing everything right down. You don't have any other distractions or the habit of just flicking and scrolling through. You can just sit down and take in these sets of photos as they're intended to be. And that is one of the beautiful things about having a photo book. Just being able to flick through the pages of a book and take in the stories and seeing how each photo works with the next and what story it's telling as you go through the book is something very, very calming and soothing about it. With this book, it speaks to a side of photography or a niche of photography that I don't myself do quite often. It's heavily night-based. It's got a lot of neon lights, which is, from my opinion, I feel like it's based off cyberpunk, or gives me that cyberpunk feel. It actually wasn't the inspiration behind the book. He was inspired by Enter the Void, I believe it's called, or Into the Void, and Blade Runner. That was the inspirations behind this book in particular. But it speaks, like I said, to a side that I don't do so often, and a side that I kind of want to get more into, and that's taking those photos at night. Not to say that I'm going to copy everything that's in this book in particular. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that it gives that inspiration to go out to find neon lights in London, because there are some neon lights in London, and having that kind of inspiration there to say, okay, I've seen how it can be done. How can I put my own spin on this? What angles can I take to achieve what stories I want to create with the photos that I make? That is what I want to gain from these photo books. I don't want to just copy it, because I'm not learning that way. I want to be able to take the inspiration and flip it, put my own spin on what I've seen, what's inspired me. And I think that's the important takeaway to take from reading photo books, from taking in the stories and the photos that photo books present us with. But that's not the only thing that this book does very well, besides the creation of photos together and how they work in tandem. If you take away anything from what I've said about this first book, it's the last 20 pages. The last 20 pages of this book breaks down in full what he's looking for in terms of composition, mood, and colours, and how that builds out tone and creating the story he was inspired by in Blade Runner and Into the Void, and do need to double check that. It breaks down in one example, one page, how subjects were not where he wanted them to be. And in street photography, especially at night, it's going to be, I wouldn't say as hectic as during the daytime, but it can be. Especially in Tokyo, it's going to be hectic. It's going to be hectic in that example. So you don't have that opportunity or that luxury to move the subjects where you want them to be. He's had that idea of where he would like them to be, and he breaks down when the subject wasn't in the right frame, or there was too much noise in that particular frame. He took a few shots, several shots, and he breaks it down like that, kind of like X's and O's, like on a playbook, what he's particularly looking for. And when the money shot came, perfectly describes why this was the money shot, and perfectly describes why the others were not. And I think that is the most important thing, or the the thing that stands out to me the most with this book was how he was able to break down what he was looking for. And it just makes you think when you go out yourself, all right, I could take a few things that he was saying to what am I actually looking for? How am I going to create my photos in that way? Or not particularly copy that way, but how am I going to achieve what I've set out in my head? And I think that's the most important thing from this book, and the most important thing for me in particular. So before I talk about the second book, because we are going to be talking about 2 books, so hopefully you're not bored of me just yet, I'm going to leave a few of my favorite photos that I've taken from this book, and that page where he breaks down what it looks like whilst he's breaking down one particular photo and why it made the cut, what he was looking for, and what was the money shot of it. So before we talk about the second one, here we go. This book in particular speaks to more of my street documentary type style of photography that I do. If you see my IG feed, if you have a description in the link below, it speaks to more of that side, because that's the photos that I tend to take more often. Buildings, people in the streets, the interaction between people. Now the next step is how can I add a few more layers, not just because I need to or want to, just because maybe it just gives a different story to just the face value. Maybe I want to put a deeper meaning in there, or maybe I just want to highlight a subject even more, and having a different angle or composition or a different layer of subjects in there, which isn't too much, but you're still able to get to the point of what I'm trying to tell in this particular photo. That is the next step, and I feel like this book does it very well. This photographer in Walker Evans did it very, very well. And the fact it's all in black and white, which is a complete contrast to the first book, is a breath of fresh air. Because, like again, I told you at the beginning, heavily digital world, everything's in color. There's not many black and white photos that you see now, unless if your grandparents have shown you back in the day the photos that they took. But to see this and to just take it in from a post-production point of view now, if there isn't much color going on in the photos that I've taken, I can flip it to black and white. I have an idea now, okay, I have a different angle to take this photo. I've taken it, and now let's add a little bit of that source just to enhance it a tiny bit. It doesn't have to go overboard. Subtlety is key. And with that, I now have a different tool in my arsenal that I can use when I take photos in this particular style. And that is what really inspires me about this book. It's simplicity. It's simplicity. The way Evan was able to compose the photos, and now if I see something similar, I can think, okay, he done it this way. Once again, I can maybe change the angle, maybe shoot in this way, shoot from here, just to give it my spin, my take on what's inspired me. And I think that's, again, the most important thing about when you take in these photo books. You get inspired by it, and then you go out and you put your own spin, your own source on the photos that you make. Once again, I'm going to leave you with some of my favorite photos from this book. Doesn't give you that free source like Liam did in the last 20 pages, but it's still a worthwhile book to pick up and to just take in those images for what they are, stories that they're telling you. And that is it, guys. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for sticking to the end, because I know you guys have stuck with me to the end. And if you like these types of videos, you already know what you've got to do. I'm not going to spend any more time saying it. You already know what you got to do. I do enjoy making these Let's Talk type of videos. It's very casual, and it's just another way to slow down from the noise that we get from it's just another way we can slow down from all the noise that we're getting from the digital space. Just being able to slow down, talk. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. All comments are appreciated, but I really want to hear your thoughts about not only this type of video, but what we spoke about today with the photo books. Do you enjoy watching photo books? And with that, I'll see you in the next video.